Hi guys, George Glinski here from Toe the Line, joined today by Mason Shaw. Mason, how you doing, my friend?
How's it going, guys? I'm good, thanks, George.
Yeah, good mate, good. Let's start off with the very beginning of BKB. How exactly did you get into BKB? I understand you were a white collar boxer beforehand, and you sort of made your way into
all the unlicensed stuff I was doing before. What it was, my first sponsor, Tomahawk Doors, Matt Pitt, he contacted me as he only lived down the road. Someone who's sort of known of me for years, I've kind of known of him, but never really got to talking. He was good friends with Jim and Joe, so he sort of messaged me about it, put the idea forward, and I was sort of all in at that point, and yeah, all sort of took off from there, really.
And what was your sort of unlicensed background exactly? I understand you did mixed martial arts as well?
I've had 2 MMA fights, 1-1. Unlicensed, I think it was 37, and I lost about 9, I think it was. So not bad, and a few of those losses, as you like, well, some of the white collar shows are just dog shit. So yeah, you can take what you want from some of the fights, but yeah.
Yeah, they are what they are. So what sort of attracted you then from going from the boxing and the MMA over into bare knuckle boxing?
Just the big stage, really. Obviously, fighting in at the O2 in London was a big thing. Some of the guys on the card, well, good fighters, top class fighters. It's an opportunity a lot of people might not get. And yeah, for me, it sort of just fitted at the time. I wanted to, with the white collar, I never trained. I sort of just turned up, got a phone call, had a fight. I was like 18 and a half stone a couple of years ago. It was just turning up, fighting, doing what I can do. And I had a good couple of years at it, made a little bit of money, but it just weren't nothing to motivate myself to actually do something better.
And you talk about weight there. Where are you at the moment in weight wise?
I'm like 92 kilo at the minute. I'm fighting at 90 this next fight, which that'll be my lowest so far. But yeah, with Mickey was at heavyweight, and then we dropped down to cruiser for a couple. Had a catch weight with Jack Draper, and then went down to light heavy for the last one.
Yeah, let's talk about Mickey Parker, that debut.
Yeah.
What was the emotions like coming into your BKB debut there?
It was a bit mad, to be fair. I've known Mickey for a little while on the unlicensed circuit. We even fought before, prior to that fight. So I knew he was a tough guy. I knew he was undefeated in bare knuckle, but it was just a fight I fancied at the time. I thought, well, I was confident of beating him. I knew where my strengths would be in that fight, what his strengths would be. So I was more than confident. But then, like I said to you last week, being sat backstage was a bit of a different story. A few of the guys, obviously everyone's friendly, meeting, all nice, chatting to you, getting to know you, like as fighters do, talk about previous fights, whatever else. And then guys are walking out to fight, and I was midway through the card, and a lot of the guys walking out were coming back, and they would look completely different. And that was quite daunting. I sat there like, what am I getting myself into here? But yeah, all sort of went to plan. It went quite well, so can't complain.
Bloody hell. Yeah, I've heard a number of guys say a similar thing. 5 fights now in BKB. Have you got a particular favourite amongst those?
Even though it was a loss, I like the Thompson fight because it was just a proper tear up. You know what I mean? He come out and he wanted a scrap, and then that's what happened. Really, I sort of threw the boxing out the window there, but entertainment wise, that was a good fight, a very good fight. Obviously Dave Thomas was a good fight as well. He came and he brought it that night, so that turned out to be a good war. Mickey was a good fight as well. I can't say I've had a bad one apart from the last one, but
no, I can't say you've even the Anthony Holmes fight, it was an entertaining fight. Let's talk about Anthony Holmes. We have to get this out of the way. It's very sad, but
that's not a problem, man.
What went wrong there for you, do you think? Or
I don't know. It just didn't turn up, man. I don't know what it was. He even said to me after, we were staying in the same hotel, funnily enough. So we had a good chat after the fight. He said to me he had a bit of a game plan of what he wanted to do, like movement wise and things like that, and it obviously worked out. But yeah, a lot of things, I did everything right in my eyes. I trained the hardest I've trained. I lost a lot of weight. I was running near enough every other day, training the days that I wasn't running. I was doing all the right things. I was more than confident. But yeah, a few things. I'm not going to say what, because I don't want to make excuses. The man won fair and square, simple as that. Yeah, it just wasn't my night, man. But it was a big learning curve for me, that fight, I think, personally. And it just made me realise it's the first fight I've ever trained for. Like, even the white collar ones I've lost, I never used to care because I never used to train. So I'd sort of have that to fall back on. But that fight I spent, I think it was 8-9 weeks, obviously away from the kids, the missus, working as well. And yeah, I was real emotional after that fight. So that's sort of, it's lit something really. So I'm ready to go this time.
So I guess then the mental state in terms of fight or flight, very much fight, that's motivated you coming into this next fight at BKB.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I can box and I can fight as well. I was sort of caught in no man's land a little bit with Anthony, really. It was like when I wanted to get off, he wasn't there. Falling short, getting caught and things like that. He manoeuvred me quite well. He's a very strong guy inside. And I think he'll, well, as you can see, he's going to do well in the sport either way.
Definitely.
And we will, no doubt, we'll get it on again someday.
And talking about your next opponent, Ash Griffiths, what do you know about Ash as a fighter?
I know he's a MMA background, fought on a few big MMA shows. He was in with James Kennelly. I've seen that fight. I think he's done a couple of the lower level BKB shows as well. So he's had experience in it. I just hope he brings a bit better than what he brought with Kennelly, to be honest. I want, obviously, a fight to put on a show. That's what I'm all about. I'll quite happily take a loss as long as I've gone out there, done what I can, they've done what they can. You know what I mean? And everyone's entertained. That's the main goal, really.
Definitely. And
they're always the better fights anyway.
Yeah, and as I say, you bring them every time. And what's crazy for me is I'm right in saying you're 24. 24?
Yeah, turned 24. Yeah.
And people forget that. So like, you're very young in the game. You've got a lot of talent, but where? It's a sort of a superficial question, but where do you sort of see yourself in BKB in about 2 years' time, shall we say?
So I said, I think it was to Tom Ross I spoke to on the last show. I would love for this to pay my bills, and I'm sure a lot of the other guys would. Like, it's at a good level now. Jim and Joe have done very well to get it where it is, and I think it's once you have a BKB fight and you realise you like it, there is not really any turning back from that. To be honest, you're kind of stuck. So yeah, I'd like to see myself still here 10 years time and in the mix with everyone else, a couple of titles, and yeah, making some good money.
Definitely. And we spoke a bit about earlier about you had the sacrifice you had to make in that last fight, the mental sort of, I would say, trauma of losing after all of that. How did you sort of recollect? How did you sort of reconnect with your mind and body after that loss?
It wasn't. I didn't dwell on it too much, just because I knew it wasn't myself, and the amount of people that have said to me, even Robin, Black commentator and stuff like that, they knew it wasn't the usual me. So to hear everyone else saying that as well, not just, oh, this kid's just, you know what I mean, he's not really had it or whatever, or I'm a bit of a one-trick pony or something like that, but it's just one of those. I didn't dwell on it too much. You can't really, like, you take this sport especially is going to be hard for anyone to keep a zero. Simple as that. Like I said, with my second fight with Thompson, I was winning that fight, and that was stopped due to a cut. So up on the cards, you get a cut, and the doctor steps in, and you know what I mean. You can't take nothing for granted in this sport. It's
been a difficult career. I say the draw against Jack Draper as well, something which has been sort of controversial.
Yeah,
it doesn't dishearten you at all.
Yeah. I don't like that one. I prefer the fucking Thompson loss to the Draper one, to be honest. No disrespect to Draper either. He's a good lad. We chat now and again. It was just, I just thought I was landing all the cleanest shots. I think the round that called it a draw was the first round, but he didn't touch me in that first round. You can watch it back, and I land 7-8 clean shots. His head's going back. I don't know. It's just what people like to see, I guess. Judging, it's one of those. I knew I had it. Like, you know when you come away from a fight and you're untouched, or you've landed the cleanest shots or standout shots, but that is what it is. I can't do nothing about that one. We did have a rematch, and a few things went a bit pear-shaped there. So,
and the Kevin Thompson rematch as well. It's been a difficult career, and that's why.
The disappearing act, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So it's been sort of, as I say, one of those careers I've followed very closely. But yeah, just disheartening, mate. And what really sort of is nice to see is that you're so uplifted and happy, and sort of you don't dwell on it too much, because I know
I'm grateful as well. I wasn't expecting to be on the next show, and then I got a call off Jim saying I got a fight. Are you interested? And I was just like, yeah, I had the sort of same thing in mind for me. Really, I wanted to get straight back in there. I sort of thought I was going to miss out on this one, possibly the next one, depending on how stacked the card was going to be and who he's got coming in. So it's good to stay busy, have good performances, and you need to stay relevant. So I'd fight all the time if I could, as long as the health's good and hands are good. Then yeah, I'm game.
How are the hands actually? I must ask. How are they?
They haven't been too bad. The Dave Thomas fight fucked my hands quite bad, to be honest. My fingers are all kinked and swelled. Like the missus takes the piss out of that a lot as well. They look a bit fucked up, to be honest.
Is there anything you do to sort of protect your hands at all? Is it just any rituals?
Nah, it's one of those. I suppose you just kill them off. Really, you're better off just numbing it over the fights. I guess there's not really much else you can do.
Yeah, no.
You forget about it when you're in there. You still feel it, but you do forget about it. It's the following weeks after. I couldn't even do my jeans up after Dave Thomas. I literally couldn't even put my buttons together and nothing like that. Shoelaces. It was just everything was so painful for weeks. But
this is why I'm never bare knuckle boxing. Stick to boxing. So finally, Mason, thank you very much for being so transparent in this interview. And is there anyone you'd like to thank coming into this fight against Ash?
Obviously my main sponsor, Tomahawk Doors, that's Matt Pitt, who's trainer, sponsor, manager. He's sort of the man who's helped me get to where I am, to be honest. So big shout out to Matt Pitt. I've got Gorilla Vapes, so Serge Bitton at Gorilla Vapes. Dean Lewis at Western Warriors Gym, he's a pro coach, got a very good amateur club, doing a lot of good things for the area that I live in. I'm trying to think. We've got Dr. Plugs, Chris Sampson at Dr. Plugs. He sorts out CBD and other kind of things as well for people. And I think that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. I don't think I've missed anyone there.
That's the team. Well, Mason Shaw, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, man.
Cheers, buddy. Bye.
See you later, George. Cheers, man.